the beloved and love itself. Amen. I'm going to start with a reading from C.S. Lewis, from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Do you know it? This is the scene just after Lucy and her sister have seen Aslan being killed on the stone table. The witch was able to kill him because their brother had betrayed them with a traitor, and so the traitor's life was forfeit to the witch. That's what the old magic from the dawn of time said. So then Aslan steps in and allows himself to be killed in the traitor's stead. And he dies, and the witch's forces leave to go and start the war against Cair Paravel, the castle of the princes and the princesses. And Lucy and her sister are left. Susan just by the foot of the table, and they're crying. Some mice come and start nibbling at the ropes that are holding him. They try to shoo them away, but they don't get rid of them. They take the muzzle off because he was muzzled as he was killed. But the mice come back, and then they realize that the mice are chewing through the ropes. Eventually, they start wandering around, not quite sure what to do with their grief. They're sobbing, and then they hear a crack. As they turn around, they see Aslan alive, and they wonder what it means. It means that though the witch knew the deep magic, there is a magic deeper still, which she did not know. Her knowledge goes back only to the dawn of time. But if she could have looked a little further back, into the stillness and the darkness before time dawned, she would have read there a different incantation. She would have known that when a willing victim who had committed no treachery was killed in a traitor's stead, the table would crack. And death itself would start working backwards. It's interesting, that was a test. I didn't know that was going to happen. But it does. I used that passage first in a preaching class that I did 25 years ago, I think, in seminary, and I cried. And apparently I still cry with that passage. Because something about resurrection is amazing. And C.S. Lewis's poetry captures it. I don't quite understand it, but I know I need it. I have to tell you, after a tumultuous moment in my life, way back about 15 years ago, I preached on Easter dawn at the year of the resurrection and burst into tears in the middle of the sermon. And then have cried at every Easter sermon ever since. Because this speaks to me in ways beyond logic. And I cried. I actually wasn't sure what I was going to today. Sometimes I cry in front of you in sermons. When I cried in that preaching class, the teacher was crying as well. And she said, I said, sorry, I was crying. And she said, oh, no, don't apologize. I hope it happens for you again. And then a parishioner from my last parish, who used to cry a lot, found herself crying in services in church all the time. And I just thought it was fine. I'd give her a tissue and we'd carry on. When I was leaving that parish, she said, you know, one of your gifts to this parish is normalizing crying in church. And I don't know if you know, my office comes equipped with a tissue box. And I'm very comfortable with you crying in front of me. In fact, some people have said that I'm pretty good at getting people to cry. Don't know if you know much about tears. There are different kinds of tears. There are mechanical tears that happen when you need to clear pollen or smoke out of your eyes. It just comes and flushes your eyes out. Then there are emotional tears that actually do something else. They release endorphins. They change your body chemistry. They change you as a person. And if you avoid them, you're likely doing damage to your health. If you don't cry, psychologists call it repressed coping. As you repress your tears, as you avoid tears, you're probably harming your heart. You're making yourself more likely to have a stroke. You're increasing the chances of hypertension. Do you know that the average woman in the US cries 3.5 times a week? Do you know the average man in the US cries an average of 1.9 times a week? Men cry less than women because they were told not to when they were children. And discovering your ability to cry again can be transformative. I think God gave us this emotional mechanism for a purpose. We are sometimes meant to enter into sadness. And when we cry and shed tears, we connect with our feelings in a way that transforms not only our emotional lives but our body chemistry so that we can heal. That's what they're for. There's lots of crying in today's text. Mary cries. The crowd cries. Martha seems kind of pissed off. I'm sorry for the language. There's a little bit of subtext there of frustration. If you'd have been here, you wouldn't have died. Where were you? Jesus says, you know he's going to rise again. And Martha says, yeah, I know, Lord, thanks for the platitudes. He's going to rise again at the last day. But that doesn't make today any different. There's some frustration there, maybe there's some angry tears from Martha. There's real sorrow from Mary, but I think she's frustrated as well. Is Jesus being cruel by waiting? Then we get that wonderful text that's translated in the version we have today as Jesus began to weep. But some versions of it have that two-word verse, Jesus wept. Jesus wept. Why is he weeping? Is he angry, frustrated, sad? Actually, I think it's sympathetic tears. It says in the text, he looks at Mary, he sees her crying, and he weeps. He realizes the pain in the life of his friends. Oh, there's something. Sometimes we can cry. Somebody else cries with us. And we connect. And the connection itself is a part of the healing. They wept in this text. And Jesus seems to know that something happy was coming. So why didn't he get to that sooner? Here's the thing that we sometimes do when weeping occurs. We say, no, don't cry. It's okay, it's going to be okay. It's not that bad. You'll be fine. Don't do that. Stop that. Invite the tears. Welcome. Come to your friend who's crying. Be present in the tears. I think Jesus knew something wonderful was happening, but that these people who he loved had to go through grief in order to get there and really appreciate what was unfolding. We're coming up to Easter where we're celebrating the resurrection of Jesus, but often we skip over all this stuff in between. We're meant to cry. Even though the ultimate story is very, very happy. Because all of our emotions are recorded in this process. Every single part of us. There is something about the tears of Mary, the crowd, Martha, and Jesus in this text which are necessary for them to fully appreciate the gift of life. There's something very necessary. I don't know what you might be thinking about at the moment. A loved one you've lost. A circumstance in your life that feels unresolvable. A relationship that's broken down. Maybe even happy tears from joyfully connecting to a loved one. Perhaps there are things in the life of the the church that are coming and going, ministries that are changing and transitioning, things that you've loved in our life together that aren't here anymore. Maybe you're connecting with sadness that some people that you knew and loved in the pews next to you have passed away and aren't in the community. I firmly believe that God is doing a new work amongst us. Something beautiful and wonderful as we connect with each other and support each other. But things are changing at the same time. And we have just come through a very difficult period. And many of us bottle up our tears all the way through COVID. And some are beginning to connect with them now. And so I'm using this text today as an invitation to do just that. Priorities. Come for one another. Connect with others. Grieve what's past. If you don't, you won't be able to fully let it go and appreciate what has come. Because the story ends with Lazarus stepping out of the tomb. And Easter morning is full of joy.